Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of international rugby. This one, Ireland taking on Japan. Now, the Irish, they do come in as heavy favourites for this contest, and we didn't quite see the best of the Japanese in their last game up against the Springboks. But at the Aviva, yes, this is expected to be a high-scoring game, but maybe Japan can get themselves a couple tries here. I know that Ireland, they will want that win under the belt after being defeated by the All Blacks just last week. They will be trying to get those November internationals back on the right track. Looking through at the Irish starting lineup, it is Andrew Porter, Ronan Kelleher and Thomas Clarkson as the front row. James Ryan alongside Tyke Byrne in that locking duo. Tyke Byrne, controversy last week, but the man is back. The suspension was not given for Tyke Byrne, and it was actually rescinded in the end, so a little bit of a misjudgment from the TMO as well as the referees in that All Blacks fixture. Ryan Beard, Nick Timoney and Caelan Doris slots in as the number 8. So no Josh van der Flair for this matchup. Instead, Doris moves back into the starting lineup alongside Beard and Timoney for the loose forwards. Craig Casey and Jack Crowley. They'll be the 19 combination here. Robbie Henshaw alongside Tom Farrell in the midfield. And then Jacob Stockdale, Tommy O'Brien, and then also Jamie Osborne there as the number 15. Looking through at the Japanese starting lineup, Kobayashi alongside Sato and Takeuchi, who is considered as the most unlikely to score himself a try in this contest. Although Takeuchi has not been in bad form whatsoever, I do see for him to score the first try, it was paying about $151, so the chances are not high for that man to score. In fact, all of the Japanese side are considered as big underdogs for being able to score in this contest. Olivetti moves into the midfield alongside Warner Durns, the captain, with Ben Gunter, Shimokawa and Makesi slotting in as that number 8. Michael Leach, instead of starting, will be making his way off the bench. And this contest, Nato Saito alongside Seunsun Lee as that 9 and 10 combination. Charlie Lawrence and Dylan Riley in the midfield. Osada, Ishida and Yazaki, again, are the back three. But we have got plenty going on in the chat by the looks of it. Of course, Georgia versus USA, and it's currently taking place. Last I saw, USA were leading by 7, but I'm not sure whether or not that is still the score at this point in time. We have got there as well so much rugby. How will I keep up, or more will I stay up? And G Stadium looks empty. It's never going to be too full, unfortunately, for a match like this. But that doesn't mean that, that's the thing. The Aviva's huge, so it's probably still a decent-ish crowd. How long till kickoff? We've got about 7 minutes at this stage. And we have got there 57-7. Ireland, lock my scoring, please, says Xander there. But yeah, the last USA-Georgia score that I saw, I am nutty, was actually 21-14, I believe, in favour of the USA. I'll just have a quick look here, see if I can find an updated one for you. At the moment, 24-21. Georgia actually leading at the moment after 33 minutes of the contest. Hi, Hamish, hope you're well. From a not-so-sunny Alberton, South Africa, says Daryl, hope you're doing well too. I will mention, and you guys can possibly hear it already, I'm actually quite sick, unfortunately, this week. I think I've got a cold, which is very unfortunate timing before the big international rugby weekend. Ended up playing cricket today, which may not have been the best idea, but then they were going to be short if I didn't play. So, yeah, I've been trying to speed run this cold, as the cool kids would say, trying to get it out of the way, but it hasn't quite worked out that way. So there will be times where I have to pause to try and compose myself and stop my nose from running, but hopefully we won't be too bad throughout the 8 or 9 hours. Dose yourself up with meds, mate. You can probably tell by me not being able to say that sentence that I have already indulged in some. I took a Deflam or something it's called, but now my throat's numb, so I don't know how that's going, but we'll see what happens. Where's the venue? And I wonder if the Irish can match the box score. So they are playing at the Aviva for this contest. Does look like a pretty decent crowd. I'll be honest, there are a few empty seats there, but for an early morning, or not an early morning, sorry, an early afternoon match, nose plugs, says Brandon. Honestly, if it runs too much, we might have to consider it. At this stage, it's not going too bad though, so I don't want to jinx it, but yeah, there might be a few little tricks that we have to use throughout the live stream. G'day. Is daylight savings making you sick? No, just getting a cold is people who are sick around me, then I am sick, unfortunately. We have got there as well. All good. I hope you get well soon. Vitamin C says, Daryl, I did scoff 2 oranges yesterday. Have blueberries, a Barocca, all sorts. Try and get me my vitamins in. Should be a demolition match, says Cited. Well, that's the thing. Ireland are expected to win this game by a large margin, like I mentioned. They have got a great side and they've got a great bench to go alongside it. Jack Conan there, Sam Prendergast, Jimmy O'Brien. Like, there are going to be, I would say, at least 10 tries scored between these two sides. Now, the question is how many of those are going to be the Irish and how many of those are going to go the other way in favour of the Japanese. You can see the emotion on the face of the Japanese side. Looking to go out there and make a real statement in this contest. Samoa versus Brazil for last qualification in the Rugby World Cup. I suspect Samoa will win, end up being the last qualifier. Yeah, I think the big game for them is that match up against Namibia on Friday. And I am hoping to cover that one on the channel. Thoughts on the match for the weekend? I'm going Box versus Roosters. Yeah, I think that one has to be up there. Also, All Blacks Scotland, I think, could be a little bit closer than some anticipate. And it already seems like if we're just basing it off back and forth rugby, USA Georgia's got to be up there in terms of, you know, the excitement. They're currently 24-21, 26-21 in fact, and it is still the first half. So they are going for a big high-scoring close game. By the looks of it, it was Samoa playing Paraguay or Brazil. Two different broadcasters have two different options, so they are playing Brazil. Paraguay did get disqualified from the Rugby World Cup tournament because of one ineligible player, which meant that they pretty much gave themselves up and said, look, we can't actually qualify. Good for you. Kiwi fruit is loaded with vitamin C. And use clothes pegs. It will shut your nose, but you will look funny. Life is a trade-off. Says Xander there, 70 points minimum. Says cited in this contest. We have got the Irish rugby anthem now. Then we will be underway in this contest. Do let me know your score predictions if you haven't already, ladies and gents. And when are the Fred playing 7 a.m.? So they are playing at 9:10 a.m. New Zealand time, which is 10 p.m. in South Africa. And I believe there would be 8:10 p.m. in the UK, I think. And Scotland will win 37 points to 17. That's a bold prediction. I think that Scotland would be happy to just win by 2 or 1 because at the end of the day, they have never beaten the All Blacks. So if they were able to win by a thin margin, I think they'd well and truly take it. Morning, Hammy, says Yvonne. Welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. New Zealand 15 versus England A as well starting. Says, I am not a year. They are kicking off at about 20 minutes or 25 minutes time. Reason behind doing this game rather than that is, for one, this is an international rugby fixture, but then also it gave me a little bit more time in between and a bit more of a build-up for New Zealand versus Scotland. So that was a bit of the reasoning behind it there. One moment. I'm going to have to very quickly mute. As you guys know, I'm a bit sick. Right, let's hope that is the last time on this stream that I have to pop away to the side, but I cannot guarantee it. The Irish should win. They should. And they should win comfortably in this contest. AB's to win by 10 points, and Portugal will win against Uruguay today, says Bo Kang. The Irish anthem sung. Caelan Doris ready to go for his first start in quite some time. He's had a couple injury problems, Caelan Doris, but now back into the starting lineup here and also captain for this contest. I doubt I will ever see Scotland defeat the mighty ABs, says Keegan. Honestly, I think that these two sides look relatively even for that match later on, knowing the All Blacks, they're going to deliver a clinical 37 points to 7 or 35-17. And thank you for covering this match, says Michael. No worries at all. And there's no way Scotland is beating the All Blacks, says Lisa there. Yeah. But that's the thing. We've seen upsets throughout the international rugby scene as of late. So I just don't trust the Scottish at this point not to make it extremely close. And good day, Hamish. Some cracker rugby on this weekend. Let's go the Bock in New Zealand for the wins today. I'm sure Ireland will win as well versus Japan by 15 points, says Brett. And bless you, Hamish. I nearly went to the beach to surf, but then I saw all your games on, says Ruth. Yeah, there are a lot of matches. You think they could put on, well, some of the games on Friday and Sunday, Saturday too packed? Exactly right. The fact that Italy-Australia has taken place at the same time as Fiji-England tells you that they've completely butchered the schedule. And then next week, France versus Fiji is on at the same time as Ireland versus Australia. So it's as if each week they've decided to try and get more controversial with the overlaps, to the point of, you know, they'll have the Springboks and All Blacks playing at the same time probably next year just to test out the patience of the rugby viewers as a Tier 2 nation coach. What do you say in the changing room when playing against Tier 1? Do you plan for victory? I think you just plan to play your best rugby. You know, you train all year round to try and get into this position. and try and make a statement when you're in these matches. Like the amount of times that a tier 2 player has got an international, or not so much an international, but a club contract overseas from a great performance up against the top side is actually quite common. So I think in this scenario, you just go out there and as a coach, you say, look, boys, you've done the prep work. They're going to be tough, but try and make a name for yourself. Hi, says, hey, no, welcome in. If you are doing well, how much rugby do we have today? We've got the 4 matches that I'm covering of international rugby. Then from there, a bit of rugby league later on, and then Wales versus Argentina also being covered. But Japan, they are going to be kicking off this game from left to right. And we are underway at the Aviva for the first of many international fixtures for today. It has kicked off into the Irish 22, and a good attack and run from Caelan Doris before he smashed in the tackle by Uluvetti, who says welcome back to Doris in the starting lineup. Had to get the 3 computer screens up to watch all these games. Says I am nutty. That one's going to be kicked sideways from Crowley up for the high ball, nicely taken by the Irish. Stockdale went up for it, and they have called it as backwards in the end. Big attack and run forward from Ryan Beard, who has his ankle held onto by Kenji Saito. And, there is a knock-on initially from the Irish, is it? I think the referee just went both ways with the knock-on from the aerial contest. I think that's from Stockdale. And RTE should be showing this match at the Aviva Stadium. I live in Ireland, and it's a bloody disgrace that we can't watch it. That is really bad. The fact that this is international rugby and the fact that it's not being shown in Ireland. What about the other games, Brenda? Are any of the other matches being shown later on Irish TV? Scotland have their tails up. Hope it's a tight one. Though being a neutral, says JB. You see, I get in trouble for saying that I want to see a close game as well. But I actually hope it's split by 7 or less. I feel like that's the best case scenario to show that Scotland have come a long way because they've got a good side at the moment. The All Blacks, they did well throughout their last 20 minutes. It's on RTE too. Says Monkey of the Shower. That's an interesting name. And Hi Brett says, hey, no, big scrum there from the Irish, but the ball pops out for Japan. Seunson Lee popping it off to Charlie Lawrence. Japan, they would love nothing more than to strike first in this contest. Inside pass. Not quite able to get through yet. Fujiwara still in the starting lineup. Or no, sorry, it is Naito Saito, I should say, for today. They've made that little bit of a switch. Been used to seeing Fujiwara in the starting lineup 2 weeks in a row. He has been playing. It's on RTE. Says operator. As a no-win. Whatever Ireland do today, even if we beat Japan well by the guys on TV, we will ever learn Japan on the day. But can beat any team, just ask South Africa, etc. Says Dennis. Yeah, of course, like Ireland, anything less than a win is not ideal here. But, you know, whether they win this game by 10 points or 50, I feel like there is still a lot of, like, learning that they can take from this game. They will want to build momentum heading into that match next week up against the Australians. And then the week after that, I believe they are on to playing South Africa. So a couple big matches around the corner, but currently 3 minutes in at the moment. Japan got themselves that position, 35 metres out, trying to get the steal and the breakdown, and he does win the penalty there, Tommy O'Brien. Penalty does go the way of the home side. I was in Chicago last weekend, spotted you in your suit. Disappointing result, but I got to see the ABs up close, so that was cool, says Yvonne. Yeah, not quite the result that Ireland were after. They did start very nicely in that contest. It was just, like, I know that the red card was talked about a lot, but Ireland actually did pretty well during that red card period. And when it was back to 15 on 15 afterwards, they were competitive. It was just that last 20 where it slightly fell apart. How do you remember all the players' names to commentate on so many games today? I think it's come down to repetition a little bit. I sometimes get lucky and get to see the number on the back, and that kind of tells me who the players are. But yeah, just too much international rugby watching, I think is the best way of describing it. Craig Casey going off to the left-hand side now. Little offload attempted. Can't quite link up, but it is now going into the hands of Jamie Osborne. They'll go back for the initial knock-on. International used to be free, but now they come with ads, paywalls, and tiers, says Katzanel. Yeah, unfortunately, rugby does seem to have a big issue, I would say, in terms of having everything behind that slightly heavier paywall than a lot of other sports. One moment, about to sneeze. We are good. Like I said, hopefully not too often on this live stream, but we're 4 minutes in, and we've already had to do it twice. And by the end of this stream, I'm going to be looking like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. In fact, I'm already heading in that direction. Can Scotland beat the All Blacks? I hope it's close. I don't know whether, I would say that this Scottish side at the moment for me looks about as good as it has in quite some time. And that's an interesting one to say, seeing as they haven't got someone like a Duan Whanamerva out there. As Amish says, Yanko, other than being sick, I'm doing very well. And very excited for all the matches. That is a big scrum from the Irish. They earn themselves the penalty advantage. Looking for the kick in behind from O'Brien. Drop ball from Dearns, but they will go back for the initial Irish penalty. This one, about 30 metres out, front of the post. This could be an easy 3 if the Irish want it, and in fact they do. Showing Japan that little bit of respect early on here, Ireland, wanting to take the 3 points win on offer. For anyone trying to watch some of the second tier 2 games or the Rugby World Cup qualifiers, Rugby Pass TV is showing the games. Says Hayno. And also, come on, Irene. Says Doc. A little attempt in behind to get that kick for Tommy O'Brien, but did get blocked by the Japanese. Crowley, this one 33 metres out from the try line. Chance to be able to add 3 points onto the board for Ireland, which I think they'll take at this stage of the contest. It's been a little bit scrappy at the start of the match. Crowley taking up as many seconds on the shot clock as he physically can. And that kick has gone over. So making the score 3-0 in favour of the Irish. Be interested to see how many of these 3-pointers they are willing to take. Because, of course, that one was a nice, easy one out in front. Gives Crowley that bit of confidence from the get-go. You just wonder at what stage are they going to have that little bit of a switch in mindset. Start going for those 7-pointers. So it's going to be kicked off by Japan. About 22 metres out from their own line now. Ireland with Caelan Doris trying to get the step around. 1 second. I'm going to have to mute again. We are hopefully good. What's your take on the games today? Can we see any upsets? I don't think there's going to be a massive amount of upsets. I think that we might get one, but I'm not sure which game it's going to be. It's either going to be New Zealand, Scotland, Australia, Italy, I think could be one that's a little bit of a closer fixture. And then alongside that, I mean, France versus South Africa is kind of a 50-50 game according to the odds. But France have struggled to beat South Africa at the Stade de France, I believe. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Now, big carry forward. Japan, they've got themselves the possession about 40 metres out from the line at this point in time. 7.5 minutes in, bless you, says Michael. She's going to be a long day of international rugby. The one thing that you don't want the day before is to feel like you're getting sick. And sadly, that happened this week. Going off to the left-hand side, little grubber attempt from Japan, looking for the territory gain. And it's not going to be terrible from Dylan Riley in the end. A win with 2 try buffer should be an acceptable margin, says Cited. And yeah, you're auditioning for Santa's sleigh pulling team. And also thanks, Hayno there, and maybe Wales, Argentina. Is that on today? It is tomorrow. We are going to be covering that one on the channel as well. But yeah, that one has the potential going 50-50. I think Argentina are our favourites, aren't they? But it is being played at the Principality. Ronan Kelleher now 10 metres out from the line, throws the ball in, nicely taken by the Irish. The locking duo. Now Caelan Doris hitting the ball up 12 metres out from the try line. Craig Casey puts it back into the pocket to Crowley. Forget the suit and tie, old boy, says Dennis. The main reason I haven't got the suit and tie on at the moment is because I've got that much Vicks Vapor Rub on my chest that I'm trying to slightly hide it till a bit later on. But we are hoping to put on the suit a bit later for the streams. We have got there, Hamish sneeze, blow your nose, drink water, doesn't matter. You're here and we appreciate that. Don't apologise for it, says Hanger Rat. Yeah, well, I think it's going to be pretty rough to listen to if it starts getting worse as we go on. But hopefully it won't be too bad. Fingers crossed, of course. Charlie Lawrence dropping that ball backwards into the hands of Ben Gunter. Now, looking to get this one moving around nicely. Now, I mentioned about how Japan are expected not to score many times throughout this game. They are considered as large underdogs, Expected to lose this game around 39 points or so. Now inside ball from Seonsun Lee. Going to Warner Durns. And good afternoon, mates. Says Flesh and welcome in. Now, big collision with Shimokawa on Ronan Kelleher. Japan keep Ireland tryless. Then what does that say about the ABs and the box? Says Wenma. I mean, it's all comparative, isn't it? I think that Japan are a side that I actually think every once in a while Japan don't play like they normally do. And they actually stand up and do very well. But they won't keep them tryless. 10 minutes into this game, still plenty of time remaining. Pour yourself a stiff drink, you'll be fine, Rudolph. Says Joe there. Hey, eyes at Hamish, feel for you, mate. Says JB, the eyes aren't too bad. It's just the nose won't stop running at the moment, which is the most annoying one. Like, I can deal with a sore throat, because that's the silent killer, isn't it? That's the one that only I feel. But, yeah, the nose trying to run every few seconds, that's the one that gets you. Currently in their own half, Japan, off to the right-hand side, 40 metres out. Looking to use this back line again. Dylan Riley with a skip pass on the outside. Finds Warner Durns, who doesn't normally find himself situated out on the wing, but a big collision with the Irish defence. You should try Vicks Naso Inhaler. Is that this one? It's green a little bit, so you can't really see it. But yeah, tried it multiple times today. Hasn't quite done the job yet. Little kick in behind, attended by Naito Sato. Sits up for Jacob Stockdale. And doesn't help that Eddie is there. Fair play, lad. Look after yourself. Thanks for doing this, even though feeling crappy. Says Dennis. The thing is, I'm actually feeling all right. Outside of, like I mentioned, the nose running. Oh, wide cut-out pass for Japan. Has been called as forward. But yeah, like, other than a bit of a fever, like, fever's all right. You just get a sweat up every once in a while. But it's just the nose. If the nose would sort itself out. I would have hot lemon and honey. I had a lemon and honey tablet thing, which was like a one for the sore throat, which actually made my throat numb. But that's good, I think. But it's going to be a scrum here due to the forward pass from the Japanese. Just talking about that backline of the Japan side, it's pretty dangerous. Nose running faster than Colby. I think it would be a good race at the moment between my nose and Chisel and Colby. I think my nose would almost win. But hopefully, by that match, it'll be fine. Sitting around the halfway line at the moment. If all else fails, always with wings, should soak things up. According to the advert, you can go rollerblading with it and everything. Says Cited. And now, this one's fed in. Craig Casey, told to use it again. And off to the left-hand side. 12 minutes into this contest, Ireland looking to strike first with their try on the board rather than just the three that is going to be knocked on in the breakdown. No ball pops out for the Brave Blossoms once more. Off to the left-hand side, Naito Sato has the man on the outside, manages to find him, nice stepping on the inside. From, tell you what, Osada has been doing some great footwork there. 15 metres out for the line, Ireland over the ball, and they'll win themselves the all-important turnover. No sidestepping Amish like Colby. Some old broadcaster started, says I am nutty. Yeah, there's so much rugby on, all overlapping for these ones. 4 or 5 glasses of Guinness, you'll be grand. Says Dennis there. And then you will be fine. You've tried all so far, says Mashiu. Now, Craig Casey. They're going to create that angle and does get that ball into touch. Do Japan want to take it quickly? Yes, they do. They're actually the side pushing the tempo here between these two sides. Bit of a miss in the tackle department from Tom Farrell. Now, Naito Sato. Flat run from Makesi. Trying to get the steal of the breakdown was Andrew Porter, but he's been dragged down. Naito Sato goes to Seonsun Lee. Charlie Lawrence driven sideways. Penalty goes the way of Ireland. That is for a neck roll, I believe, on Andrew Porter. In that breakdown, they were trying to stop him from getting the turnover, and he did not appreciate it as he got dropped on his head. That one's going to go against Kobayashi in the front row there. Jack Crowley now able to kick this one towards the sideline. I was expecting a try by now. I think a lot of people were 14 minutes into this contest and still sitting 3-0. Favour of the Irish. Let's go Japan, says Harlem there. That one's going to be put into touch. The longer that Japan can stay close in this game, the absolute better off they will be. But It's just a ball on the outside. Japan are finding their wingers very nicely. This time it was Tomoko Osada to get the possession. And Naito Sato says Keegan there, and that one's going to be stolen by Japan, but there was a knock on. So we'll go back for the Irish scrum. Now, the last scrum that we saw from Ireland, it was a pretty dominant one. So I feel like that is exactly what they'll be aiming for here as well. The power of Eddie compels them. Says cited there. Ronan Kelleher does not look too happy about what happened at line-out time for the Irish there. Andy Farrell not looking impressed as of yet either. Like they have said there, a little bit of miscommunication for Ronan Kelleher. They are showing Dan Sheehan not playing in this contest off the bench. They have got Gus McCarthy getting another chance. Ready to feed this ball in. Craig Casey, about 45 metres out from the Japanese line. Hamish, obviously, you'll be busy with live streaming throughout the morning. We certainly will be. We've got 4 in a row. Oh, that one's gone down on the far side. But yeah, hopefully it does end up, like I said, going relatively smoothly. I will quickly mute once more while we've got a bit of a stoppage. We are good, hopefully. France versus Bok, who's your pick? I did go for the Boks in that game just because of the fact that they played last week. And I think that it's extremely underrated having minutes under the belt. So I actually went for Springboks by 10 because of the fact that they've played. We have got there, what's with them lineouts? Can't our lads just or not be able to jump anymore? Past few games they've lost loads of balls. Says Dennis. Yeah, it seems like a couple international lineouts are really struggling, and it's not so much like, oh, that's a tip tackle from Charlie Lawrence. I think it was accidental, so they will go back now for the initial penalty. 18 at Old Western Spit Bucket, says I am nutty. And South Africa Rhinos versus Cook Islands Rugby League World Cup qualifier tomorrow morning, says Doc. Yeah, that one will be an intriguing one. I don't think we're going to be covering on the channel, but we'll be keeping an eye on it. Japan has a big boy problem in their team. This might actually be a yellow card to Charlie Lawrence. They're showing the replay of that. That looked a little bit worse than first anticipated. It looks like there was actually a bit of intent to tip him up. I'm disappointed that Pollard isn't playing against France. I hope France wins, says Mohadeen. And we are Japanese, if you please, says McNulty. And also Japan has a big boy problem in their team. They all small players, so they can't really front up much with the forwards. Going to have to be pacey and quick around the rucks most of the time. And we see the tackle there. They just said there that you can't pick up the legs, which is correct. I think that this is going to be a yellow card. I don't think it will be a red because I don't think there was a massive amount of intent. And if anything, I think that Farrell kind of ducks his head a little bit. But it's still going to be a yellow, I would say, for Charlie Lawrence. And we have got their Windows All Blacks 15 play. They are playing in about 5 or 10 minutes, I believe, up against England A. And that game could be quite close. This game actually quite close at the moment too, between these two sides. But we'll keep you updated in terms of what is happening for that match. Well, they did beat the Springboks. So here's Harlem in there. And also we have got there, what time is the Springboks playing? They're going to be playing at 10 p.m. South African time. So it is quite we way away, about 7 or so hours. The Japanese says, that is true. Although last week, up against South Africa, they did get defeated by a pretty hefty margin. Charlie Lawrence just going over, apologising to the player as well. I put a bet on Ireland over 59. Says Splash TV. Yeah, currently a pretty low scoring one between these two sides. 10 minutes of the yellow card has now just begun for Charlie Lawrence. You're ready to kick this one into touch for Jack Crowley. And Ireland should get the upper hand now, says Cited. You think so? They have decided to also go for the corner here rather than going for the 3 points. Why is England and Australia play same time? Yeah, I don't know who did the scheduling. Once again, it just seems like they could have done one of those games on Sunday instead of both at the same time. Oh no, Ronan Kelleher, hesitation at line-out time. It's just completely not working at line-out time here for the Irish. I think Kelleher's blaming not being able to hear the call. But yeah, just hesitates there to throw that ball in. One moment. We're good, hopefully. Anyone who is just tuning in now, I am unfortunately quite sick for this week, so we are doing our best to not have to mute too often, but there are a few times that I'm going to have to. Is Bowden Barrett still playing? Geordie and Captain are out. Yep, so Bowden's still playing as the number 10. He is also vice-captain for the ABs. Passed on the outside for the Irish. Now chance here. Jacob Stockdale cutting back inwards. Casey. Cross to the right. Big collision with Doris there. As this Island's, I assume you're going to say A side there. And I would say no, it's a little bit of a mix of the teams. They will go with the A side more than likely next week up against the Australians. Now backline movement goes over the top. Little offload on from, I believe that would have been Tyke Byrne. I'm trying to bounce back infield for Ryan Beard. Now going back across to the left-hand side. Big open space. Thomas Clarkson, another big defensive tackle made by the Japanese. Craig Casey goes across. One more pass on. Jack Crowley scores it. And that is a very well-worked try for the Irish up against a 14-man Japanese side. Although I don't think it would have made much difference having 14 or 15 there, the way that they were passing. These games overlapping is rubbish. They should put a 2-hour difference between games, make them Saturday, Sunday games. Absolutely. I feel like the thing is, there's only one game tomorrow, and there easily could have been two without too many massive issues. And good day, Mr. Kiwi Sir. How are you? How's the game been so far? It's been a relatively low-scoring one up till this point, but now Ireland have been able to break through, score themselves the first try. And Jack Crowley, man who does rub it in. Are you wiping your nose on your cat? Hamish, my cat's dead, but I should probably still say no. We have got the Eco Carnivore, mate. Haven't even had a sniffle in over 2 years since I changed. Veggies will kill you. Well, I don't really have a huge amount of veggies anyway. That one's gone over. But yeah, unfortunately, like I said earlier on, being around people who are already sick does normally end up with you getting sick anyway. And changes for Scotland match day or risky for the ABs, says Mashihu. Changes for Scotland match good or risky for the ABs? I think that they haven't made a massive amount of changes, most down to injury. Why wasn't there a Friday night game? That's a very good question. Okay, yellow card will remain a yellow card as well here. So that's good news. Japan meaning as to cover with the Box have expressed this deep gloom. So here's more digital media. And also why Ravis Rayana not start. Great question. I would have started him alongside Kyle Preston. We are good, hopefully. Sorry about your cat, Hamish, says JB. It's been a little while, about 2 or 3 years, I think. Mate, my wife and kids get crook regularly. Never gets passed on to me now. Used to. School kids are filthy. Says X. Nicely taken. Or at least slapped back onto the side of the Irish. Now Caelan Doris. It's going to be the knock-on from Ireland, though. Does give Japan the scrum opportunity. Currently, Ireland 10-0 up. So that kick did go over from Jack Crowley. Our teams are lower than 9th in the world rankings. They should be allowed to start the game with 16 players, says Xander. I don't think World Rugby would ever sign that one off, unfortunately. And good for Japan, but old mate Eddie be serving profanity at halftime, says Doc. Yeah, see, I think that Japan they'll be happy enough with how they've started, but they'll also feel like they should have been a little bit closer in this contest. And good for Japan, but old mate Eddie. Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? Now ready to feed this ball in for Nato Sato. He's been told that he can put it in. The man is casual today, only because of the amount of Vicks Vapor Rub on my chest. We will be going into the suit a little bit later on. But yeah, currently dealing with a bit of a fever, so just trying to power through that part. Now Nato Sato going back across to the right-hand side. Warner Durns. Good tackle on him by Caelan Doris. The two captains colliding with each other. And my prediction, Ireland 10, Japan 80. Do you mean that round the other way, Stephen? Or is that not a typo? How can Japan compete with 14 men? How can Japan compete with 15 up against this Irish side when they start flowing? Question is, they probably won't, but they have to stay competitive as well as they can. The clean out there in the breakdown, still in possession for the Irish, sitting about 28 metres out from their line. Disagree, Hamish, says Doc. Rolling this one back, Craig Casey. It's ready to put this ball up. Actually goes for the little dink in behind, and it's gone straight into the hands of Jamie Osborne. Now around the halfway line, Jack Crowley looking for the cross kick. That one's going to be competitive. It might have been slapped back by Japan. I don't think Stockdale got a hand to it. What was the halftime score? Japan versus Box. 26-0, I believe, in favour of the Springboks at halftime. Now going off to the right now. This is danger for the Irish. Past one more. O'Brien looking towards the corner. Actually ends up tripping himself there. Who's got a red card? Only the yellow card for Charlie Lawrence. So a big collision there. Clarkson's been chopped down like he's a tree. Now around the 22 here. Japan will be able to roll this ball back. Vic's Vapor Rub to the rescue, hopefully. Yeah, hasn't quite done its job just yet, unfortunately, but fingers crossed by the 8th hour of streaming, it might kick in. No red card, Ruth. And the Australian midfield is pretty good. 12 under Paisami, 13 Joseph Suali'i, I should say. England 15 versus New Zealand 15 started now. Yeah, that one kicking off. I believe it was 2:05, wasn't it, that one was getting underway. It's also Samoa versus Brazil happening at the moment in Rugby World Cup qualification matches. And then Namibia play Belgium that little bit later on too. I'll quickly get some score lines up. And also England 15 versus All Blacks 15. Who you got? Well, that's the thing. New Zealand 15 coming as favourites, but I honestly wouldn't put it past the England A side to be able to cause some sort of upset. I would go New Zealand 15, though. A little bit of obstruction there on attack from the Irish. Samoa has scored. Says I am nutty there. Well, that is good news for the Samoans. I think that they, no matter what, they need all the wins, though, don't they? It's that big game up against Namibia, I would say, that's going to really determine the competition. We see it there, Jamie Osborne just overrunning that one. Ending up in front of Farrell, who was running in behind. England 15, I got by 7. Says Harlem there. It could definitely happen. I feel like those two sides are close enough. In fact, that game kicking off in about 6 minutes' time by the looks of it. That one kicking off at 2:15. Enjoy your castle, Ruth. Are you covering Belgium, Namibia? Are they airing it, says Roger. So at the same time as that game has taken place, New Zealand plays Scotland. So we are going to be covering that one. Japan throwing this ball in, nicely taken by Warner Derns. Now off to the left-hand side. If the Japanese can strike before half-time here, it would be well and truly still in this contest. Big pick and go from Takeuchi, but they've gone back. Penalty in favour of the Irish. The ruck was formed, and then Takeuchi must have joined and then come back to take that carry. Get well soon, Hamish. Whiskey is a good remedy. Must drink lots before you get sick. Says more digital media. And also, we've got there. Thanks, Doc Martin. Love you all, folks. Says Ruth. And unfortunately, Japan by but the refs. Says Doc. One's going to go into touch. And we heard about Noah Kaluri. He's playing in the game up against the New Zealand 15, isn't he? I've heard quite a bit about him and how he is a talented young player. And hopefully, I'll be able to catch a replay of that England A New Zealand 15 game. Oh, okay, the commentators are actually saying that that shouldn't have been a penalty up against the Japanese there. USA take the lead 26-27. That's a phenomenal game at the moment. Use text-to-speech when you lose the voice. I actually don't think the voice is going today. Because the biggest concern when I was doing those previews, New Zealand, Scotland, South Africa, France, was my throat. It was pretty brutal, but the throat seems to be fine at the moment. It's just the nose that doesn't like me. Now, Crowley going back across. I kind of wish I was like Mr. Potato Head and could just detach it. Voldemort, he had it easy. Now, ball's going across. He probably had quite a tough run when you really think about it, Voldemort, but that's not the point. Currently 22 metres out from the line. Charlie Lawrence back onto the field for the Japanese. Hey, Hamish says, Stefan, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Is Josh Twisted Balls playing? No, don't think so. That one's going to be kicked into touch, or at least trying to kick it into touch. Nice little step there coming back from Tommy O'Brien. Yeah, the Irish commentators of Japan or say that Japan were hard done by there a minute ago. Yeah, they said about as long as one of Takeuchi's feet were behind the ball, he was going to be fine in that scenario. He's got plenty of pace for a tight head prop. Takeuchi, now Ireland, 40 metres out from the line, carry forward from James Ryan. Cross to the right again, trying to chop down Ryan Beard. How's it, Hamish? Says Clint D. Welcome in. You're doing very well. Hope you are excited for plenty of international rugby on today. Nice out of the dummy from Robbie Henshaw. Actually sold 2 Japanese defenders, then gets it to the hands of Tommy O'Brien. Thought Georgia was way better than USA. Yeah, it's quite surprising with how back and forth they've gone. You see, Josh Jacob looks like Timothy Chalamet and Natalia Dyer in one. Says 10 or 2. It's an interesting combo, isn't it? But you probably, to be fair, I don't know who Natalia Dyer is, but I do know who the first one is, and it's not a mile off. Off to the left-hand side. Oh no, in fact, Casey will go back right. Drop ball from Tyke Byrne. They've called it as backwards. James Ryan with the offload. Nick Timoney showing his pace, but I think they'll just check this to make sure that it wasn't forward there off Tyke Byrne. It was initially ruled as backwards. Hamish has had a cold or allergy. Sadly, a cold this time round. I know that I had a little bit of hay fever last week, but this week I am sadly just sick. And a single malt, says JB, hot chocolate and vanilla ice cream. Sounds all right. Right. They're saying that one's gone backwards off Tyke Byrne. Try taking an anti-allergy tablet for the runny nose, says Joe. So is it like an anti-hay fever tablet? Would that work? Because I know that normally when I got hay fever, those hay fever tablets don't work. But maybe in this case, maybe it would. Thanks for the commentary. What time do New Zealand A play against England A? They are playing in only 2 minutes' time. Is when they're going to be kicking off. Jack Crowley now. We're going to line up this kick quite close to the sideline. And that one's going over. And making the score now 17 points to 0 in favour of the Irish. Try a concrete pill. Says X, sorry we can't all be carnivores like yourself. And we have got there doing the haka now, says I am nutty. And also we have got there ginger beer and tequila. And also this is all part of the plan for Japan. They'll turn it on in the second half, says Stephen. And Georgia destroying the USA scrum. Yeah, see, Georgia are real physical in their forwards, which is what you would normally see. And no matter who they play, they actually were really competitive up against South Africa in the scrum department as well. All Blacks beat England, says more digital media. And try hot honey lemon water, says Eugene. That one's going to be knocked on by the Japanese. So ball taken by Craig Casey, running out of space there on the short side. In fact, they haven't called that as a knock-on against Japan. So now getting the attacking chance. Sitting about 25 metres out from the line. Makesi moving forward. Now back across to the right-hand side. Little short pop pass up. Thought about getting a steal there, Tom Farrell, but just ends up slipping out. Position. Japan now, I mentioned about it before when they were 10-0 down. They needed a try before halftime. They certainly need one here. Can they get that response going? To the left-hand side, nice backline movement. Makesi, in fact, that time it's Ulaviti. Look for the offload. Was knocked on. They will go back. Your beard looks biblical, says Clint D there. What's your feeling about Antoine Dupont? Not back yet. Dupont ain't playing. Yeah, he's still a little way away from coming back from injury. I don't think a mile, though. Like maybe a few weeks, a month. But yeah, trying to get that offload to Makesi was Ulaviti. Doesn't quite work out. And Kyle Julius, what's the latest? Well, at the moment, 17-0 in favour of the Irish. New Zealand A versus England A is just about to kick off. And we're just about to have a scrum. One moment. We're good. He has been here since 2016, so he probably will want something else to do after 2027. We have got the Ireland missing those cheeky cross kicks that Johnny Sexbot used to do, says Cited. Yeah, although Jack Crowley, he's been kind of labelled as that next 10 option for this side. Sam Prendergast, he's a bit of an X-Factor player off the bench too. We have also got there from Harlem a little bit earlier on. I thought, oh mate, Andy was done with the lads in green or is that after the next World Cup? I think it might be after that next World Cup that he's going to be disappearing. Hi everyone, oh man, I'm missing the game. Says Big Rig, currently 33 minutes through, 17-0 in favour of the Irish. Japan just haven't quite been able to get that attack going, and any time that they've been close, there's either been a handling error or a penalty against them, but they now sit 25 metres out from the line. At the moment, Ireland are sitting 3 lineouts won, 3 lineouts lost. So not quite their best day at the office. And that department, the maul has been called. Wasn't moving forward for the Japanese. Now Charlie Lawrence, after his yellow card, does have the attack and run forward. Also the advantage in favour of Japan. They can throw everything at this Irish defensive line now. That was for offside, rushing up a little bit too quickly for Ireland. Trying to sneak through, but nice tackle made from Tom Farrell. Just looking through, trying to find Robbie Henshaw at this point in time. I haven't seen a huge amount of him throughout this match as of yet. And off to the left-hand side, Sato with the skip pass goes to Lawrence again. Ireland, every breakdown, trying to get one man in to get the steal. Ben Gunter knocks it on. They will go back for the initial penalty. When is Japan going to start playing? Come on, Japan. Says Tristan there. I feel like they're almost clicking. They haven't been a mile away from finding their rhythm here. There's Robbie Henshaw. Just get the good shot. A good tackle made initially. I think I thought they were trying to say that Robbie Henshaw was the one penalised, but he did look like he was in a good position there. But now Japan, they have the option of taking 3 points here if they want it. But I'd like to see them go for the corner. And that looks like exactly what the Brave Blossoms are going to try here. Seonson Lee kicks that one into touch. Let's go Japan, get that try, says Cited. One big try before halftime could be absolutely massive for the Japanese and their confidence, ready to throw it in. Kenji Sato. And nicely slapped back. Ball still available. There is going to be the advantage as well in favour of Japan. Warner Durns trying to pierce that short side. They'll go back for another penalty. How do Ireland claim to be the best? But can't hold down Japan, says Flash TV. I mean, they're winning 17-0. So they're doing all right, aren't they? Samoa 10-5, says I am nutty. And the USA have a 7-1 split, says Hayno there. And why is the French game so late? It is just because it has taken place in France. Normally those games in France are the later kickoffs. In fact, they are throughout November, I believe. Their game up against South Africa is 9-10. Their game up against Fiji is 9-10. And then their game up against Australia is 9-10. So that's just the kickoff time in France that they do like to go with. Rolling maul here. Now moving quite nicely forward for the Japanese. This looks like Warner Durns wants this one at the back. Is the ball going to go to him? It looked like the transfer there. And they want to check this. See whether or not there is a grounding. I don't actually know if they got it back to Warner Durns or whether it was still in the hands of Kenji Sato. In fact, that might be Takeuchi, who may have popped up with possession here. Try awarded, says Cited. Enough for a sack team, I don't think so. Says Splash TV. Oh, it is going to be the try awarded for the Japanese, and it is Takeuchi who manages to score it by the looks of that anyway. I mentioned about it at the start, how he was considered as the least likely player to score in this whole contest. They're just trying to find if it was him or whether it was Kenji Sato. I'm trying to catch the number. Oh no, that's Takeuchi there. So it was not Takeuchi. That looks like Kenji Sato, who has managed to score it. They were giving Takeuchi credit though. And good try by Japan, like a hot knife through butter. And great try from Japan there. Nice try from Japan. They even score him before half-time. Geez, Hamish, what time is it there? It's currently 2:20 a.m. here in New Zealand. Seonson Lee getting that kick over, making the score now 17 points to 7 after 37 and a half minutes. As it because they are waiting for all football to be over. so they can't be distracted from the rugby, says Cool Story. I'm not actually too sure. I think it's just always the way that it's been when there is a game in France. They always seem to have it quite late. It's the same with the Six Nations. We saw it multiple times. Are you going through, or right through to the AB's game? We are indeed, yes. So we got All Blacks versus Scotland. Then after that, England versus Fiji. And then one more after that is South Africa versus France. Going to be covering it all on the channel. And hopefully, the Nose is going to be playing the game. And Yahoo, Japan did it, Saito. Outrolling this one. Oh, trying to get the kick downfield was Nato Saito. It's going to be well claimed by the Irish, though. So with 90 seconds remaining in this first half, Thomas Clarkson goes across to Crowley. The hands of Robbie Henshaw. What time is the South Africa France kickoff? And your time, it is a 9:10 a.m. kickoff for us here in New Zealand. We stock up the Red Bull Sun. Good on you, says Big Boy Games. That afternoon chat says on the right, welcome in. Currently on the halfway line, Ireland with the ball in hand. Off to the right. A low tackle made on Nick Timothy. Is it difficult to completely shut out a team for the entire half? And with the distinct differences in world rankings, I think that Japan, when they find their rhythm, they are very hard to shut down. Ireland managing to slap that ball back. That looked like a knock-on from Casey. Yes, it was. So now Japan back in position once more. I'll see you in a few hours. Do keep up the good work. I think Fiji has an explosive backline. They certainly do. Tuisova in that 12 jersey. Salisi Rayasi also at 15 for the game. Oh, wow. Rush defense there from Jacob Stockdale. Actually flattens himself out. Ishida getting through. Now another step from Takeuchi. Left-hand side once more. Going back across to the left-hand side. Brave Blossoms. Plenty of space to work with. Great offload. Flying down the wing here. Oh, and the miss pass on the inside. He's actually passed it to himself. Went for the pass. His teammate overran it. And then he looped back around and got the next carry. Now nice stepping from Warner Durns. So you'll sleep sometime tomorrow. Or for you today, I guess, in the afternoon. Yeah, I'm hoping to sleep a little bit. And then coming back for the Rugby League at 6 p.m. Right, they're going to go back for another offside penalty going against the Irish here. For me, Japan should be ahead of England in the world rankings, says Stephen. And most French rugby kicks off at that time. I say it's when the rugby public likes to watch on the TV in the bar or at home, says Fleshin. Good thing I slept in the day. Then, says Cool Story. We'll be back for the All Blacks game. Need to rush, says Mashihu. Yeah, that game kicking off in only around an hour and 40 minutes time or so. Right, what is the decision here for the Japanese? Sounds like the shot is going to be called. Looks like an injury here for Makesi too. We're good. And good day, Hamish. Just checking in. I hope you're going to survive for the Bok French match. I hope so too. Oh, they're actually checking something upstairs by the looks of this. A TMO check. Name an app. I can watch the game. Sky Sport Now here in New Zealand would be your best bet. Right, this is actually going to be for Jacob Stockdale. Now, at the time, it was an ugly collision. It looked like there was a directional change, but is he going to the bin here? It is slightly head-on-head. Two games overlapping too much. Big rig. They should split the games Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Go New Zealand, says Johan there. He was ducking down a little bit for Jacob Stockdale, but he did go into the challenge far too high. That's going to be a real good game. France versus Box. See how hungry the French are after the Rugby World Cup final loss. Japan was it was a little bit too strong against, or South Africa was a little bit too strong last week against Japan, I assume that is. Sucks that Fiji versus England and Australia, Italy are on at the same time. Absolutely. And we want to cover both of them. And then also next week, France versus Fiji at the same time as Ireland versus Australia. So I'm really not sure what they're doing scheduler-wise. But, right, they're looking at this replay 57 times. What have they found out? Like they've said, it's a marginal one. It's either going to be a yellow card for Stockdale and some would consider him unlucky, or it's going to be just a penalty. Okay, it meets the yellow card threshold. Jacob Stockdale, he is going to be making his way off of the field for the next 10 minutes, although he will also be off the field with his teammates for 10 minutes because it's just about half time. As it played in France, box versus France, it is indeed, yes, at their Stade de France. And go Japan, says more media. And can Fiji put up a fight? I hope so. The last time that they played England at Twickenham, I think they were actually victorious, weren't they? Game of the day, Colombia versus Mexico has started as well. Says I'm nutty. Although, to be fair, I think Georgia versus USA at the moment is probably going to get game of the day, the way that those two sides are going back and forth. I think they're just saying 6'3" versus 5'5" makes it tricky. But yeah, Georgia, USA at the moment is 33-27. The way that it sits, 11 minutes into England A versus New Zealand A, it is 0-0. And then in terms of those World Cup qualifiers, Samoa beating Brazil 15-0 at this point in time. But that kick goes over from Japan, making the score now 17-10 at halftime. Will this take us to the next match? It certainly will. And game of the day, and refereeing comedy, only surpassed by the Japanese and Irish version of rugby. Says 2 meters. And also we have got the ads at the Stade de France. But yeah, close game at the moment between these two sides, sitting 7 points the difference for Ireland and Japan. Looks like it's going to be a year of Lions hangover for Ireland. Says River there. And we have got the Kima Show, Japan, says Rugged Man. And hi Hamish, I've just joined your stream, but I've been watching the game from the start. Ireland are not looking good at all, says Francois. They have struggled at times, haven't they? They've had a couple nice crisp backline movements, which is what they're normally known for. And I do think that's the feeling of absence of no Jameis Gibson Park. We don't seem to be seeing it flow quite as nicely. Glad, Timo, we're not interrupting the flow of the game so far. Says Cited. 1 second, we are going to sneeze again. We are good. Hopefully, try AB's 15. Says Novbum. Others like watching an amateur game. Says Rugby. And hi, everybody. Unfortunately, Japan probably are not going to win this game. I mean, they're close enough, though. They're only down by 7 points at the moment. 44-28 to South Africa. This is closer than we thought, says Michael. It is, which is actually kind of good. Because originally, I couldn't decide which game I was going to be covering between this one and New Zealand 15 versus England A. Purely because of the fact that it seemed like England A versus New Zealand was going to be the closer game. But it was Caleb Tangitau managed to score himself that try in the All Blacks 15 matchup. But, yeah, because of the fact that this game's close, it means that it's probably worked out not too badly. And also we have got there, Soldier Field was the beginning and the end of Irish rugby, says Rugby. And I missed that. How did Japan score? So they just ended up using their rolling maul, getting it through into their hands of, I believe it was Kenji Saito who managed to score it. I can't guarantee it though, because they tried to give credit to Takeuchi. But I believe it should have been awarded. See, no, they awarded it to Takeuchi. I don't think Takeuchi actually scored that try. But, I mean, he'll take it if he's getting it awarded to him. But I'm sure it was actually Kenji Saito who scored it. I think, anyway. 1 second, we'll go like this. We'll go like that. I just want to quickly check another website and see whether or not they did give it to Takeuchi or someone else. And then they got a penalty. They did indeed, yes. I'll be watching Brazil versus Samoa. It's a close game. Says Michael. I think this Japan has given Ireland a run for their money, and that's a good thing, says Brett. Oh, I've clicked the wrong one. I clicked on Rugby Pass TV. Right, we'll go here. We'll go here. Who did they give credit to? Yeah, so Kenji Saito got credit for it on Rugby Pass, whereas on the one that I was looking at, they gave it to Takeuchi. But I believe it was Kenji Saito. Takeuchi right on his side at the time of scoring. Japan get an early score. The crowd gets behind them. Anything is possible, says Stephen. A strange, I expected Ireland to smash Japan, but if Japan can keep up the insane pace, they are playing it. They have a good shot. Brilliant. Would be a big upset if the Blossoms can win this by 1 point maybe, says Brandon. While we're at it, talking about the odds of this contest. At this point in time, Japan are considered $21 underdogs here, up against the Irish. I have also learned anyone in New Zealand who has a TAB account can actually watch this game on the TAB. Interesting. I wonder how many other matches... Okay, no, just that one. That one's the only game that's available on the TAB by the looks of it. I want Japan to win, partly because I want Ireland to lose, says Bruce. Who is reffing the Scotland match? I think it's Nick Berry. I could be wrong, though. Not a good performance from the Irish perspective. Lineout has been a mess again. Discipline not good either. Lots of penalties given away towards the end of the half. Yeah, it seemed to be the lineouts were just not functioning at all for Ronan Kelleher and his Irish pack. These are the players off of the bench. I think we might see Gus McCarthy relatively early in the half just to try and add a little bit more stability into the lineout. They may look to use Jack Conan too, although Nick Timoney, to his credit, did just recently score himself a try. Ryan Beard hasn't been too bad either, so I don't actually know who you put Conan on for, so I might take that one back. Sam Prendergast, maybe they look to go with him, or Blade might get some game time just because something in that backline's not quite functioning at the moment for the Irish, but looking at what they have got to come, they have got their match up against the Australians next week, and then the game after that up against the South Africans, so it does not get very easy for Ireland from here on out. Their first match up against New Zealand, they were defeated by those 13 points, but still plenty to go for this Irish side. For the Japanese, they did play South Africa in their first match, then from there they have got Wales as well as Georgia as their next two fixtures. I was still muted. My apologies. What is the box game after France? Says, hey, no, next game for the Springboks is Italy next week, and then they play Ireland and then Wales as their last match. Japan won't win this game. Ireland has way better stamina. After 60 minutes, Japan will be huffing and puffing, while Ireland will still pounding them, says Big Rig. Although that's what people thought about that game up against the Kiwis as well, that the Irish had plenty left in that gas tank ready to go, and that was when New Zealand started finding their momentum. But maybe that is something that has made the Irish more cautious of that last 20 minutes. Really want Japan to win. Says Joshua. How many times has Japan beaten Ireland? You've probably counted on one hand. I don't think it's a massive amount. It's just showing the highlights of that England versus Australia game. I haven't actually watched the second half of that contest as of yet. I've just seen Henry Pollock score and give a bit of a taunt to the crowd as well. Good morning, Amish. The USA is hanging in there with Georgia, 33-27. At the moment on Flow Rugby, says Mo. Yeah, looking like a close finish coming up for those two sides. And at the moment, Samoa beating Brazil 22 points to 5. I do see. But Georgia now 36-27 is the latest I've got after 74 minutes. So they must have just taken a three-pointer, get them outside of the 7. Who is reffing the Scotland match? I believe it's Nick Berry. Kiwi versus Samoa will be a good game. It certainly will, and we're going to be covering that one on the channel. So, of course, be sure to stick around for that one. It will be a nice early morning start for you guys in South Africa, but a 6 p.m. game for us here in New Zealand. Come on, Scotland. Come on, Samoa, says Moa Sope. Yeah, I am going to be covering that Samoa versus Namibia match midweek next week. I think it's on a Friday, actually, that game's going to be taking place, and we will be covering it on the channel. Just showing Scotland versus USA. I think they've decided that during this halftime break, they're just going to show all of the tries that we've seen in recent weeks. And Nick Berry says, Bruce, and who do we play after Scotland? I assume we is New Zealand. So New Zealand's game after Scotland is up against the English. And then from there, they do play Wales. Is Mr. Kiwi Sir going to stream the South Africa versus France game by any chance? We certainly are. Even though my nose is probably going to try and run all throughout it, we're still going to be doing it on the channel anyway. England A versus All Blacks 15 should produce a 50 points or over 50 points. One moment, I'm about to sneeze. We are good, hopefully. And imagine if Wales beat New Zealand. I would be impressed with the Welsh, definitely because, I mean, they've had a pretty rough run, haven't they, as of late? Bless you, says Big Rig there. And nice easy second game for the All Blacks then, says Stephen. It would be their third, Stephen. We have got there, bless you, says Mania. Is my favourite player, Ringrose. Still being a complete, being nice guy, says on the right. He's not actually playing in this game. They have got Tom Farrell as their outside centre with Robbie Henshaw as the 12. Jimmy O'Brien, he's going to make his way off the bench this match as well. You need some warm chicken soup, says Big Rig. Yeah. I tried to get over the cold yesterday, which was optimistic. Take care of yourself, says Gus. What is Mr. Kiwi Sir's prediction for the bot game? I did go South Africa by 10. I think that them playing a match under their belt is such a massive boost for that side. And our All Blacks 15 look composed, says Tanner 2, and Japan is behind by a lot. 7 points is pretty thin, isn't it? In terms of an international rugby margin. I'd be surprised if Wales managed to beat around the bush rather than a rugby match. According to the stats, Japan have had more possession. They actually, I believe, had more running meters. Or at least they had throughout that first 20-minute period of the game. They have looked very handy in this contest. I think Ireland will really be frustrated heading into their second half, but that is where they have to make sure that they get it right, but they are down to 14. How long till the All Blacks game? All Blacks game kicking off in in 1 hour 30 minutes time. As when that one will be taking place. 26-0. It was being behind by a lot, says Francois. Is this Irish team or second strength? Or is this Irish team a second strength? I would say yes. They haven't got Jameson Gibson Park, no James Lowe, no Bundy Arkey, no Tyg Furlong, no Dan Sheehan, no Josh Van der Fleer. Who else do they miss? They've got about probably 3 or 4 other guys that could be in there but aren't for this match as well. And we have got the army here for the long haul again today, says Robert. It is greatly appreciated. Of course, there is plenty more rugby to take place today. Our next live stream going to be starting up in about an hour's time. And that is that contest between Scotland and the All Blacks. 1 second, I'm going to sneeze again. We are good, hopefully. As a Bok fan, I think it's a mistake to underestimate your Japanese opponents. Says on the right. And the New Zealand A team are 6 and English team are 0. Says Richard. What are your thoughts on the bench lineup? All Blacks against Scotland? I think that the All Blacks are starting to find some decency off their bench in terms of like some sort of consistent selection week in, week out, which is good. I feel like that's something that they really did need. But I also do think that, like, I don't know. I feel like I still would have had Satiti off the bench for the match up against the Scottish, just for that real big impact. Don't worry, Mr. Kiwi Sir, you are not the only one who is suffering with the flu. My nose has been killing me, says Mania. And Australia or Italy today. I think Australia, but it could be quite close between those two sides, I would say. I would not be surprised if it goes relatively down to the wire. 1 second, we'll go like this. We will go like that as well. So currently it is half-time of the contest between Ireland and Japan, of course. USA versus Georgia is just about to come to an end. I agree with you on that, says Harlan. The Japanese team usually strong. I missed the live, so I don't know how do they play the match, says Shahad. So they are doing decently at the moment. We have got there from a Springbok supporter. Never talk about the All Blacks. They will F you up. What we forget, the world must still learn, says Tristan. But yeah, at the moment, 29-5 between Samoa and Brazil. So Samoa actually really running away with that contest, which will build a massive amount of confidence for them, seeing as they did have such a shaky last period of the Rupa charge in the qualification. Where can we watch Samoa Brazil online? I believe it's on Rugby Pass TV. Would be your best bet. Sam Derry and Duplessis Karefi combination, I don't think would complement with the power front row. Yeah, that's where, like, for me, those two selections, like, I think Derry will actually go all right off the bench just because of current form that he has had, but I'm not sure about Karefi, and I'm not actually too sure where they're going to put him because he only really plays 7, which means that you've either got to take Savia off or you've got to move Savia to probably 8, take Peter Larkai off, and then give Karefi that 7 jersey. But it's just a tricky day at the office for Duplessis because of the fact that he plays the same position as the captain. What does Karefi bring to that, though? I assume it's that turnover ability. The breakdown offence to Brazil, the Rugby World Cup without Samoa feels weird, although also a Rugby World Cup without Namibia would feel pretty strange as well, wouldn't it? So I feel like it's a little bit unfortunate that one of those two sides is going to be missing out. That's like having a Football World Cup without the Netherlands. So here's Big Rig Joe. Right, the yellow card is going to remain as a yellow card here. So that is good news for Jacob Stockdale and his Irish side. I think they're just saying that there was the change of direction. They've said there that common sense is prevailing. And it's about 33 degrees in Cape Town, and the island match is now back on. It certainly is. Just about to get back underway between these two sides. And try the All Blacks 15, says Nod Mum. And holy hecka, Braden Enoa intercept. And they're too. Well, on the flip side, it means we get Zimbabwe and Hong Kong to strut their stuff. Is Brazil in the World Cup? Not yet. If they were able to beat Samoa, or at least go close, and then have 2 wins under their belt after that, they would make their way through. But we are back underway, ladies and gentlemen, for this contest. Ireland kicking off from left to right. That is nicely taken by Uloviti to get us back underway. Part of me wants Zimbabwe to win just to shake up world rugby. And Georgia just scored 40 points, or 41-30, the kick to come. Not a gambling man, but I reckon this is a $21 deal you might actually win, says Yanko. Although Ireland, I think people are still expecting them to find their rhythm here. And they haven't been an absolute mile away throughout this contest. Now that one's going to be kicked high. Waiting for this one to come down. Jamie Osborne, and it's well claimed by Japan, though. God bless you, says Richard. And there as well, bounce pass, Warner Durns. Looks like the sun's coming out at the Aviva. Now Saito kicking it high. Chasing after this one, trying to go up for it. Wasn't able to take it too cleanly for Tommy O'Brien. Think it's going to be a Japanese line-out. Yes, it is. I think Japan will win. Says Sterne there. I guess busy swimming in the pool, says Bruce. That is a soccer match that tomorrow. Japan recorded a 100% line-out success rate in the first half, 8 from 8, while Ireland secured 4 of 7, having 57% success. So Japan at the moment in the line-out set piece is better. Oh no, they've found a knock-on against the Japanese. TMO getting involved and finding it, which I believe does now give Ireland the scrum feed here. Japan score an early try, says Brett. Yeah, nah, it does hit the hand of, I believe that would have been Osada. And we'll find out in December, says Big Rick. Irish commentators are annoying, says Michael. I feel like a few people probably find me quite annoying because of how snuffed up I sound today as well. So I do apologise if you guys do hear a difference. But yeah, I know that the Irish commentators, they were pretty happy that Stockdale just got the yellow for that one. South Africa playing next. They are playing France in about 6 hours' time. Oh, penalty goes the way of Japan there. A collapse in the scrum from the Irish. Any idea where to watch the South Africa-France game? Whereabouts in the world are you, think, 20? England try, says I am nutty. In that England A versus New Zealand 15 game. Now Sionson Lee just looking for that scrum mark. And be able to kick this ball downfield. And to touch Andrew Porter, still can't scrum straight. Says Hato, it's so good that other countries are getting involved with rugby. By the way, Hamish, my dad said he agrees with me. They're way better at commentating than BBC commentators, so feel chuffed, says Big Rig Joe. We do appreciate that from Big Rig Joe's dad, in this case. I'm in Dubai. Oh, okay. I'm not too sure about the watching options for Dubai, unfortunately. The best thing to do, though, would be to go onto World Rugby's website, because normally they have a where to watch section. Oh, this one going off to the side. Now Ryan Beard, 40 metres out from the line, cutting back on the inside to Kalen. Doris bumps off Gunter. A two-man tackle from Kobayashi as well as Warner Dearns. I must give you search and watch a game of rugby with Koso or Afrikaans commentary. The most passionate commentators. Says Mania there. I would have no idea what they are saying, but I'm sure I'll be able to hear it through the passion that one's got on. And back to Thomas Clarkson, picked up by Ireland. And France, Japan, and Scotland wins. Just to make it interesting, says Sternay. Now Casey. Back across to the left-hand side. Crowley, Henshaw, passed on the outside. Farrell has got Osborne there, who now gets it away to O'Brien. Trying to break through, but he's tackled by Charlie Lawrence. Also the low tackle made by Ishida initially. Backline movement coming here for the Irish. That ball's going to be knocked backwards. Looks like maybe an injury for one of the Japanese players too. Crowley lined up by Ulavetti. And a drop ball from James Ryan. Means that now Japan are going to have themselves the scrum feed. Now we have there is James Wilson. Or Jameson Gibson Park, I assume that is injured. No, they're just resting him for this game. Seeing as they have got Australia and then South Africa in the next 2 weeks. So they are giving Craig Casey a bit of an opportunity here. All matches are blocked at Northern Cyprus. We don't exist as a country. CSL there. And also we have got the Irish being beaten by Japanese. Could happen. Yeah, at the moment, just the 7 points separating these two sides. Feel a massive collision there for Jack Crowley. It's not going well for Ireland, says Arno. I mean, they haven't quite found their rhythm. Their line-out has got about 57% accuracy at the moment. But I think that the biggest thing here is to make sure that they win. And why didn't Flanders pass? Who would he have passed to, Tanner, too, out of curiosity? I know that Severy Reese is playing out on the wing in that contest. I want to see England versus South Africa just to see where they are at before the Rugby World Cup 2027. Have you ever watched the local rugby streams on YouTube like Caledon and Batravia? Those commentators are hilarious, and Ireland didn't have any rhythm against New Zealand and Chicago either. Why aren't Ireland clicking? Same coach, mostly same players, although this game, different players in terms of like a bit of rotation, but I still think that they would have liked to be doing a lot better than they are here. And Reese says, I am nutty. And be back soon. Going to the shop for milk. Well, hopefully you do manage to find it. Scrum feed here for the Japanese. I'm quickly going to mute again. We are good. Hopefully. Ishida. Now kicking this one downfield finds Jamie Osborne. My big goal between the streams is going to be find a way to stop my nose from trying to run all day. Nicely taken, Craig Casey. Oh, now Jack Crowley kicking behind towards the Japanese 22. Awkward bouncing one, but cleaned up by Seun Sun Lee. And we'll put the ball into touch. We've got to remember, Ireland's still playing with 14 men on the field at the moment. Ireland didn't have any games for the past 6 months. That's probably why, says Tanner too. And so what do the pundits say? This was an Irish B team. Says Arno, they definitely have said that it's an experimental Irish side in terms of some of the position and player choices that they've gone with. I'm making more yogurt today, 24 litres, should last a few days, says Bruce. That one's going to be nicely taken by Tyke Byrne at line-out time, an advantage going against Japan as well for closing that gap. And the penalty awarded. This one's about 45 metres out from the line, and this might be actually an opportunity for the Irish to just take 3 points here. You're in that scenario of Jacob Stockdale still going to be off the field for another 4 minutes. Here in Christchurch right now. Can't be the bad weather, says Sternay. Not quite in Christchurch, a few hours south. But no, I'm literally just sick with the cold. Now Crowley does put that ball into touch. And come on, Japan. Are you bathing in that yogurt, Bruce, says Stephanie. And hi, good afternoon, says Martin. Welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. What time are the All Blacks playing? They are playing in 1 hour, 20 minutes time. So we are going to be starting that live stream in 50 minutes. On off to the left-hand side here again for Ireland. Big collision in the middle of the park with Tom Farrell. Now Casey going across to the left-hand side. Caelan Doris, he couldn't quite pass it on. Now he tries to give it to O'Brien. I think he waited probably about 2 or so seconds too long there, Doris, before he went for the pass. Sorry, I'm South Africa. We have 3 players per position. Do we have an A, B, and C team? Says Arno. I hope the Irish now understand why they are nowhere near being a top 3 rugby nation. Says got so. And also, our running nose is very frustrating. Hang in there. Please be there. For the Springboks match, cheers from Durban. We certainly are, even though the nose is absolutely going for it. We are going to be here all throughout today. Now, Craig Casey goes across to Andrew Porter, reaches out and scores for the Irish as they take the lead just that little bit further in their favour. I can get Sky through my UK link, but match is now on TNT. Can't afford that, says Salah there. But a try for Andrew Porter, his 7th international try in his 77th match for the Irish. Hope Japan wins, says Martin. That's a big try for the Irish, just trying to break that momentum that Japan have been trying to create for themselves. And then Crowley, the wide cutout pass into the hands of Tommy O'Brien, who was dragged down just short by Osada, and then quickly passed on, and Andrew Porter finished it off. Let's go Japan, says Justin South African. Now, ready to strike this ball here for Crowley, and this should use up a majority of the remaining time for Stockdale. That one's missed away to the side, making the score 22 points to 10 in favour of Ireland. Even the World Rugby Channel wasn't allowed to use clips for Whistle Watch. It's mad, says Big Rig. How long you be sick for, says Portnoy. So I ended up getting sick on Thursday night, and then Friday I was sick, but still managed to get most of what I wanted to do done in terms of like previews and whatnot. And luckily at that stage it was just the sore throat. But now it's like the nose just won't stop. Although it's actually all right at the moment. I'd either rather it be completely blocked or completely clear. So at the moment we're doing all right. We've got a blocked nose at this stage. And that one's going to be kicked into touch. Chance now. I do see Michael Leach has made his way onto the field for Japan. Box by 10, says Yanko. And also, are you doing the Wales game tomorrow? We certainly will be up against the Japanese. Or sorry, not up against the Japanese, up against the Argentines. 8 lemon and warm water is good remedy, Hamish, says John there. I don't know, the Springboks going to win. Springboks 36 to France's 16. Oh, you're going a 20-point win for the Springboks. A good try from Porter. More of this, please, says Vlad. Now Japan in a good attacking position on the field. On off to the right-hand side. It might seem too optimistic. 12 points to 45 in favour of the Springboks. That is very optimistic in that game. Now 20 metres out. Brave Blossoms got 30 minutes to try and get back into this contest. And still that yellow card of Stockdale has not quite come to an end. Now Uluvetti skipped past there. In fact, that time it would have been McKessie. A pick and go again from McKessie, the same man. Advantage going against Tyburn for not rolling away. Any opinion on Italy versus Wallabies? I think it's going to be a pretty competitive contest. Australia up against the English will be disappointed with how they finished it. So they will probably look to right those wrongs up against the Italians. But they are a pretty decent side at the moment, Italy. So I could see it being close, but I'd say Australia to take it. But I wouldn't be surprised if Italy get themselves the upset win. A score for Samoa game. At the moment, at half-time in that contest, 29-5 in favour of Samoa. So currently leading with a very nice margin. Is Italy, Australia or England, Fiji going to be the better game? I think that Italy, Australia may end up being the better game out of the two. But England, Fiji, with the fact that it's at Twickenham, I feel like the neutrals will probably be watching that game, I would say. Eat some extra hot ramen noodles. That will help with the blocked nose, says Jose. Yeah, see, it's a tricky one because at the moment, I don't actually mind when it's completely blocked, like it is right now. It's when it's in between and deciding whether or not it's going to run or not. That's the annoying time. But if it's completely blocked, I would take completely blocked every day of the week. Now ready to throw this one in. Kenji Saito ready to put it in for Japan. Straight to Warner. Durns at the front. Little set piece attempted there. Makesi almost driven into touch. Watching very closely was Amisha Kelly on that far side. In fact, no, sorry, that was Piardi. Now ball stolen by the Irish. We see Conan on for Timony. Sam Prendergast on for Crowley. And there was one other change that I didn't quite catch. But Prendergast, big kick downfield for his first of the day. That was a very nice strike. Japan decide to take this one quickly. 35 metres out from their own line. Running this one sideways. Passing it on. Charlie Lawrence. Couple quick steps there. Yeah, I think I'll watch Fiji England. It's rugby's least likeable team against the most likeable one. And also steam yourself with Vicks. Says Mosape there. Yeah, there's certainly going to have to be some things happen between the streams. I'll have about 5 or so minutes, or maybe 10 minutes to be able to try and get something going. Now Sam Prendergast running this one sideways. We have there Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Ernest in Cape Town. Yeah, it's going to get even more red as well. We've still got another about, I'd say 7 or 8 hours of streaming today, if not more. Great Casey, back across to the left-hand side, finds Doris's hands once more. Oh, Casey, ready to kick this one off his left. Warner Durns trying to get that charge down. Couldn't quite do it. Japan need to be the next team to score. That's going to be knocked on by Ireland. So play on is the call, though, from the referee. Looked like it did hit one of the Irish players and then move forward to his teammate. They did check something earlier on and went back for it, so that one might be similar. But backline movement now, Sam Prendergast going over the top, finds Jacob Stockdale, who recently made his way back out onto the field after his yellow card. Lying on a cold floor. Can help break a fever, says Stephanie. And Illy is a good attacking side, so it should be a high try game, says Sterne. Yeah, I think that they'll probably be... Oh, nice cut-out pass there. But yeah, hopefully they'll be competitive in that contest. Japan under a lot of pressure. Charge down there. Stockdale, I think he's offside. They may check this one of whether or not he can be offside off the charge down for Jacob Stockdale. One moment, I'm about to sneeze again while that try is happening. Right, I think they are just checking this one for an initial knock on, and then also they're checking to see if Stockdale's offside, which I think he is. You think based on this performance, Ireland belongs anywhere near the top 3, says Kotso. I have a question. Why is there so much bad blood between Ireland and South Africa? Because, of course, I know that you are a South African supporter, and we've seen so many people coming in saying that Ireland aren't as good as they say they are. But is it because of that rivalry that we saw last year, or is there just something about this Irish team that gets on people's nerves? Because it seems to be the trend, as everyone seems to not like Ireland if you are based out of South Africa. I'm off to watch the F1. Make sure Ireland win while I'm away. Japan isn't a bad side, says Sterne there. Right, so they are just checking there to see if Jacob Stockdale is offside in this scenario. Leinster says Bleshin there. And both offside, says Doc. Yeah, so we'll see that kick forward. Okay, so yeah, I think there was actually a couple offsides in a row. Mate, South Africans don't like anyone, that's why, says Dennis there. And also we're going to come on Ireland and come on England, says Ben. I see that, Ben, you've got the YouTube picture as your picture. That is a power move and a half. Green guys are normally, or usually angrier, says Mosape there. Right, so that's going to be no try here. I want the Box to win by 1 point tonight. More would be amazing. 1 point would be comedy gold. What does world rankings prove? Being number 1 in the world, then going to the World Cup and winning. Says Arno. Ireland talk too much. Says Martin. And rent-free baby South Africa, says Barry. Kick him behind. Was initially well done by Tommy O'Brien, who looked like he took a little bit of a cheap shot on the way through. I don't like our Irish because they always trying to throw their comments in our face when we lose. But our comeback is always Ireland chokers and didn't win a World Cup yet, says Brett. And Tanner said the South Africans just hate anyone for absolutely no reason. And Ireland are cocky and have nothing to show for it. You have not answered the question, do you think they are top 3 team? Says Kotso. Well, they're currently not top 3 in the rankings. So I feel like your question's redundant. But going off to the left-hand side, or in fact, no, the right this time. Jacob Stockdale onto the ball. Trying to step his way through. Nice run forward from Uloviti. Having a hard day at the office at the moment, trying to make those meters forward here for the Japanese. Warner Durns going back across to the left-hand side. Now, a nice step from Kenji Sato. He is the lone Japanese try scorer in this match. It's like the Aussies, they talk too much. Says Harlem. And out, little short pop pass up. Cornelson made his way onto the field in that locking duo now. Back across to the right, miscommunication and a knock on. And we have got there, as long as the refereeing system doesn't damage rugby, it'll be as rugby should be. Says Arno. We see here the passing going forward. Osada he tried to go to his teammate Makesi, who I think was just running the support run. Wasn't actually expecting the pass. Eddie Jones not happy in the coaching box. Ireland is a good side, enough said. Says Sturnay there. Some deep breaths being taken by both of these sides. There has been quite a high tempo at the moment in this matchup. What we are quickly going to do is check the scores of the other matches that are taking place as well. 1 second, we'll go like this. Right, Samoa versus Brazil at the moment is still 29 points to 5. I think they're still at half-time. We see England A versus New Zealand A is 12 points to 7 in favour of the New Zealand 15. And then Georgia versus USA has come to a close. Now Jacob Stockdale on the short side, offloading to Conan. The big chance now for the Irish and a big collision there on McCarthy. Now Craig Casey going in behind Sam Prendergast, trying the cross kick straight into the hands, or at least it would have been a Tommy O'Brien, but then he did drop it. Only morons hate us, the South African. I respect all other teams while enjoying when we beat them. A good game is the most important, says Duncan. And we have got there, don't they have 3 Kiwis in the Irish team, says Harlem. 3 eligible Irish players. Like, at the end of the day, you can't really blame the players because they are eligible to play for Ireland. It's the same as what we've seen for guys playing for New Zealand. It's the same as what we've seen for Vincent Tuchuka playing for South Africa now. If you're eligible to play for an international side, you get to play. But now, it's going to be a nice kick towards the sideline for Sam Prendergast. The Irish pundits, Matt Williams, equals Chef Kiss. And also we have got the exactly aim, which says Barry Power. But now a couple more changes. Gus McCarthy makes his way on, and that is going to be for Keller. And then Bielam also making his way on as well. Already Gus McCarthy going to have a line-out throw pretty much from the get-go. Now, that is something that Ronan Kelleher has struggled with all throughout the games, or all throughout this match anyway. 57 minutes, and that's about the percentage of line-outs that we've seen this Irish side actually be able to win. But Bielami's got plenty of experience. Ready to throw this one in now for Gus McCarthy. So another 23 minutes remaining here as well. Did you mean to put the I am Demon at the end of your videos this week? I did. I thought no one watches till the end, so I'll sneak that in. And apparently people watch till the end. Now, charging out onto the field. It looks like the reinforcements here for the Japanese. Seun Lee making his way off. Takeuchi the same. However, there Gus has high potential. We see there Tamifusa makes his way on. Fujiwara is on. And also Kimura is on as well. Andy Farrell needs a new job. Applied for KFC Management Fest, says Doc. We're going to see the changes now. If your country don't want to go, or don't want you, go play it where you want, no problem, says Martin. Yeah, like if you've got ties to other country that you can use to your advantage to be able to play for said countries, like there's no, like if that wasn't an option, then, you know, you wouldn't be eligible, but they are because of the connection. Found a channel in Japanese, doing a watch along as well. It is very funny. Says I'm nutty there. And people with sport lovers and supporters, let us just enjoy the rugby. No need to badmouth each other over which team you support, says Desmond. That's going to be now a Japanese scrum. Ben Gunter getting over the ball, tying it up and stopping the rolling maul of Ireland. Does Owen Farrell still play? Not internationally, really. Is he in the English squad? I don't know whether or not he made the squad in the end. He did play for the British and Irish Lions not too long ago. Now another scrum chance here. You assume that Andrew Porter wouldn't be a mile away from making his way off in the field for Paddy McCarthy. Why so low score? Says Mohamed. I think that Japan, the way that they've played throughout this game, they do deserve a lot of credit. And I don't like the fact that straight away when people see a low score, their first instinct is Ireland have played terribly and not give Japan the credit for what they've been able to do. Don't get me wrong, this has been far from the best Irish performance, but Japan have been actually much more solid than we saw last week. And actually, you'd almost have to argue better than they were in the game up against the Australians as well here. They just haven't quite been able to turn it into points yet. Are you a fan of the Far Cry series? Which is your favourite? I did enjoy Far Cry 5 a lot. That was one that I played quite a bit. Far Cry 6 came out just as my Xbox exploded, so I didn't actually get a chance to play that one too much. Me and George, we had some videos on it way back in the day. Now that one's going to be thrown in, nicely taken. Off to the left-hand side for Ireland. 40 metres out from the line, looping around Sam Prendergast. And I have to say, since he's made his way onto the field, it does seem like the attack is a little bit quicker at the moment for the Irish. Now going off to the right-hand side. Do France have a good team, says Mohadin. Yeah, they're pretty solid in terms of their lineup. Of course, they're still missing a couple players, but pretty much all the international sides are at this point in time due to injuries. Now going back across to the left-hand side. Big collision there in the middle. How does Ireland get their world ranking points? Certainly not by beating the Box or the All Blacks. How is it possible? Ireland got to number one in the rankings, says Roy. Well, they won a lot of their Six Nations fixtures. They were the defending champs of the Six Nations up until France did win this season. They only lost to England in the Six Nations last year in South Africa. They went 1-1, so that helped their rankings. Up against New Zealand in 2022, they were able to beat New Zealand on New Zealand soil, so that helped their rankings. This one's going to be kicked high. Sam Prendergast sitting just outside of the 22. Too deep there, but nicely cleaned up by Osada. It's sport, and to hate a team is pointless. You can dislike, but hate is a strong emotion for a game. Says Flesh in there. Oh, partially charged down. That looked like from Andrew Porter. Ireland also went unbeaten at home for 17 games. Yeah, so that certainly helps. Far Cry 3 was the first one I played. I loved it, but I also really enjoyed Far Cry 5 now. Very curious about Far Cry Primal as well. Says Dylan. You see, Far Cry 3 we played quite a bit of as well, or maybe it was Far Cry 4. It's only a game where you have to be mad, says Big Rick. Notice how halfway through I worked out what accent you were talking about there. Now going off to the left-hand side. A little step attempted by Sam Prendergast. Where is the Springboks playing Ireland? They will be playing them at the at the Aviva. Current Samoa Brazil score at the moment between those two sides. The score sits 34-5 in favour of the Samoans. So they are scoring very nicely throughout that game. Off to the right-hand side, Ireland again. Thought about the offload there. Tom Farrell does feed it up into the hands of McCarthy. 1 second, we will quickly sneeze. We're good. Hopefully. Oh, breaking the line there. O'Brien with the pass to Stockdale on the outside. Just a little bit too much on it. And it does go into touch. GTA 6 has been postponed till about November, isn't it? Who would you pick for our fly half? In your opinion, Bowden Barrett or D-Mac? Because I know that Richie is on his way back from playing in Japan. See, it's a tricky one because Bowden, like, I would still use McKenzie as that impact off the bench just because he's been doing so well. But, yeah, it's a very tricky one. And we have good there for your flu. I recommend a bag of oranges, squeeze, drink, and eat them all, says Robert. You see, I downed 2 oranges yesterday. But I think I'm going to have to down a lot more of them. And they give the best of South African supporters a dim light, says Kuno Week. Yeah, it seems to be something that keeps on happening. As any time someone else plays, it's all about not the teams playing. And Man Island's decline is real. The next generation Irish-born players are terrible, says Sports Unfiltered, although the Irish under-20s have been going all right, haven't they? Oh, actually, no, they did struggle this year. I think they did a lot better last year. Going head-to-head up against the South Africans in the relatively near future. I think that's about the 14th of November that game has taken place. Now breaking the line here for the Japanese. Chance for Yazaki trying to show off that pace, but Sam Prendergast was able to cut him off, slow him down, and shut down the Irish attack and move, but now going left-hand side, skip pass on the outside. Lawrence cuts back in, gets through O'Brien's tackle attempt. Oh, that's going to be a knock-on there from Japan. Also looked like maybe a shoulder injury for one of the Irish players. But now breaking the line, Jacob Stockdale with a chance to run his one back. Warner Durns trying to get into that breakdown and doesn't quite. Managed to get the steal. Prendergast working for it in the breakdown. Ireland, another offload there. Ryan Beard. Back to the right once more. Quick hands. Farrell going now to Andrew Porter. Looks like Ty Byrne may be dealing with a little bit of cramp in the middle. And this is where cardio starts to come into play. And also South Africa hanging around on New Zealand and French supporters. I love a GTA based in Johannesburg, says Dylan. And I agree, I want to see Japan score a try. And I do like the Scots and down a couple of Kiwis, says Yanko. It feels like I'm getting a sympathy flu watching this, says Moasope. I do apologise for that. And go Japan, says Martin. And then, come on, Japanese passion. Yeah, they are still in this contest. Currently sitting 22 points to 10. Way that it sits at the moment with the 15 minutes remaining. And didn't the All Blacks break the Irish winning streak? Are not being cocky, just curious. If they did, I don't know off the top of my head. Was it them or was it one of the sides in the Six Nations? I am nutty. I know that they broke not the streak at home for the Aviva though. Oh, and this is the injury for Jamie Osborne. I know that Ireland were on that big winning streak heading into that quarter-final. That one I know of, but I'm not sure about the home record who actually broke it. I think it might have been France or England. Two quick tries. How can Japan achieve it? Oh, they needed that ball to go dead. Ended up going into touch maybe about a metre or less away from the goal lines. They have to defend this rolling ball straight away. We have got there. France broke the home record. Says Barry there. But now, getting this rolling ball moving. Chance here at the back for Gus McCarthy. Side shuffling at the moment. Although now starting to move forward. Ireland, they know how crucial this could be. They go over the line. Gus McCarthy scores the try. And that should just about be the game now. There is a tad delayed. It's already 27-10. Well, it'll just become it for myself as all. They're actually giving credit to Kean Prendergast for that try. Oh no, now they found Gus McCarthy. Has Eddie got Japanese blood? He is indeed. I think it's his mother's Japanese. When it's the Springboks' last game. Last game will be up against the Welsh. And that is in 3 weeks' time. I believe it would be. Just showed Cal Riley. A big dumper in the stands. The MLB MVP, says Mo there. Has Japan been threatening it all in the second half? Yeah, only early on. There was one big attacking chance for the Japanese, and from there, it's kind of fizzled out a little bit, I would say. Currently, in the match between England A and New Zealand A, it is currently 12 points to 7, so a close game in that department. The last game, as when Rassi says it's the last game, says Barry, is Tuolangi in this French side. If you're talking about the young lock Tuolangi, I don't think so. I think he is missing from the match, as they have actually got Taufa Whanua off of the bench, who was initially said to be missing this match up against the South Africans. We have got there, Japan is gassed out, says Brett. And also, we have got there, Wales have only won one game this year. And the score is still frozen. It's still 22-10. 1 second. We'll shake the mouse. There we go. Has now kicked itself in the face. And has managed to sort it out. Saito, he will make his way off the field. That is for Hiral. And thanks for your answer on the Island rankings, Hamish. Do the box and the ABs play the same teams as Ireland does to get points, says Roy. So it's a little bit different because, of course, you've got a Northern Hemisphere side and a Southern Hemisphere side. Everyone ends up playing everyone eventually. You know, the likes of this year, we saw New Zealand play France in a 3-match series in the July internationals. Last year, we saw Ireland play South Africa in July. And in these November internationals, you do see most of the time, you know, within 2 or 3 years, that period, everyone will play all of the sides. And then, you know, it's just the Rugby Championship versus Six Nations, really, in terms of who you're playing and who you're getting your rankings points from. Oh, that was a close to forward pass there. In fact, they have gone back for it, Blade. Just letting that go a little bit too early. And we have got there, the Irish can't be proud of this. It's been a struggle, says Hanger Rat. Yeah, see, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because they have had a pretty rough game, but they're up by 17 at the moment, which I think they'll still be relatively happy about, because it could have gone much worse. We could have seen Japan get themselves the early score. 1 second. We are good, hopefully. Currently, just the 11 minutes remaining in this contest. 17 points separating these two sides. I guess 4 games, one not an international game. Do Springboks only play New Zealand next year? Yeah, so they've got no rugby championship, unfortunately. Oh, that one's going to be kicked in behind. Did Japan kick it out on the fall? Another mistake they couldn't really afford to have. Focus over, says Marty Sims. And there as well. Eddie Jones does not look too happy with what he has seen here from the Japanese side. I think that first half he would have been pretty happy. That was Hiroshi, who just got that one slightly wrong. Capetonians is crazy, says Desmond. Ready to throw the ball in. Gus McCarthy, that is the kick they didn't need. Yeah, see, 50-22 would have been perfect in that scenario for Japan, but giving that position back to Ireland on the halfway line as their backline starts to function. Stepping through Tom Farrell. Dragged down in a great tackle by Gunter. There's going to be a new advantage going against the Japanese. Ireland, big collision there. And a bit of leg pumping as well coming from the Irish. Go back for the penalty. Can't wait for the Test Series, South Africa versus New Zealand. And it's going to be for not rolling away going against Japan. Another chance to be able to go for the corner here, Ireland, if they really want to. Which I cannot guarantee. Oh, we did just see the Samoans score again. They are now leading 39 points to 5. That contest up against the Brazilians. That one's gone into touch. And I love watching, or going to watch, Western Province in the 80s and the 90s at Newlands Stadium. Says Ruth. Are you streaming the All Blacks on this? Or making a new live for that game? So it will be a new live stream. And this live stream, with a little bit of luck, will take you straight over when this one ends. But yeah, that Scotland versus All Blacks one starting in 20 minutes' time. So we have got a 30-minute build-up for that contest. Nicely taken by Ireland. Jack Conan trying to step through, but he is tackled low by Gunther. Now off to the right-hand side again here. Decent tackle made by Jack Cornelison, but Ireland starting to feel it here. Another run from this time, Paddy McCarthy. Pick and go from Blade. Going to be shut backwards. Pick and go from McCarthy, and he is going to be the second McCarthy of the day to score. This time, It is Paddy in the 17 jersey. They get themselves another one. South Africa versus New Zealand is always the top of rugby. Here's Martin. And we have got there, this is more of a trial match for fringe players for the Six Nations. Here's Barry. And yeah, that Six Nations competition only about 100 days away from starting up. It is coming around extremely quickly. Same with Super Rugby. It is around that 100 days away as well. And Ireland will get one more, says Big Rig. Yeah, Paddy McCarthy doing well to get that grounding. Andy Farrell, smile on his face. And Ireland will get one more. And also same with Christmas. Jesus is only a few weeks away. Says Big Rig. Yeah, it's almost December. We're up to the 9th of November already. That kick has gone over from Sam Prendergast, making the score now 34 points to 10 in favour of Ireland with just the 7 minutes remaining on the clock now. And McCarthy again. And South Africa is the powerhouse of rugby in the world, says Martin. They're just saying there about Paddy and Gus. No relation there, but Paddy McCarthy is the brother of Joe McCarthy. He's currently out with an injury. Sam Prendergast inside of the 22 will go for the torpedo kick downfield. It's an awkward swirling type of one there, but well handled at the back for Japan. Looking to kick this one high is Kimura. Chasing after it. And trying to slap it back was Fujiwara. He has hit his head hard on the ground and he is slow getting back up at the moment. Now close to the sideline for Osada. He managed to offload that away, but referee does say he wasn't touched. Stormers and Western Provinces, my local team, says Desmond. What are 18-year-old boys into? I asked mine what he wants for his birthday. It's in like 2 weeks. What is this generation's teenagers like? I don't actually know, to be honest. Trying to think of what I would have wanted when I was 18. I can't even remember what I got when I was 18. Probably something random, though. I feel like I was very much a get me something random kind of guy, rather than get me something that I could actually use. Now, knock on from, would have been Jacob Stockdale. South Africans really don't really have any bad blood with anyone, except perhaps with England. And I grew up listening to Paul McCarthy. Are you dressing up as Santa Claus, Hamish? I assume you're talking for Christmas? Maybe. I still have the Santa suit from last year. Stockdale, the next great Irish winger. Says Sports Unfiltered. I predict the All Blacks making the next World Cup team are going to be a dynamite side, an unbeatable side. Says Roy. Do you think Pollard will ever play again? I'm disappointed in Rusty. Pollard will still have a lot of game time under his belt. I think he's just decided to go for a little bit more of an attacking style up against the French, predominantly because France love that kicking battle. So by using Marnie Libok and Sasha, you open up the opportunity for a lot more running game. Pollard's time is starting to run out. Rassi is doing well by blooding Sasha, says Francois. Now ready to put this ball in. Japanese going off to the left-hand side. Now looping around nicely, done, passed on the outside, down the wide channel there for Osada. He's had actually a pretty busy game. He's had over 100 metres. Carry now Sam Prendergast, flicks it on the inside, going to Osborne. In fact, this time it's O'Brien, and he will score another try for the Irish as they now move to 39-10 up. Our commentary on the comments sounds more exciting than the game. Says Marius, it's been a decent game so far though. The second half has been a lot more eventful. And it's just been that there's been so many comments coming through as well. So I'm trying to read each and every one of them. One moment, I'm quickly going to mute. But no, I'd say that this game has probably been better than I've made it sound. In terms of definitely the second half, it's been a bit more of a running rampant for the Irish. That's a beautiful flick pass on the inside from Sam Prendergast, and then O'Brien just shows off that pace. I think Pollard will play against Italy next week. We have the eventful as in Japan collapsed with flapping bellies. Says a big Rick. I think Tapai and Whainanuku might be a better combination. Geordie hardly breaks the game line. Says Chuck T, and that kick has gone over, making the score now 41 points to 10. Just the 3.5 minutes remaining now in this contest. Yeah, that's a nice pass on the inside from Sam Prendergast. South Africa beating anyone, and our Ireland seem to fade away, says War. And also we've got there, you have to do a lot of depth in comparison to us in Ireland, says Barry. And Ireland will be happy with 40. Oh, I think so. I think 41-10, they'll probably say, yep, about par. Could have been worse. And this match, although using this back line again, they're going to try and get something going on the outside. Some nice pace shown, and Stockdale slips through his fingertips again. He's got the pass away from Jimmy O'Brien. Huge second half for the Irish. Says DB. Wallabies or Italy. I think Australia may sneak that one, but it could be quite close. Japan ran out of defenders, says Ruth. Can't wait for ABs versus Scotland. ABs will make it count, says Hanger Rat. Stockdale already showing one wound from this contest. Just a bit of a mark under the eye. Only 2 minutes remaining on the clock though. Japan, they've got themselves another throw. Very well played, Japan. You honoured your nation and maintaining to worldwide respect. My deepest commiserations to all the haters of Ireland. You must be gutted. Best of luck against France, though, says Kernovec. And there as well, a little bit of a counter ruck from the Irish again. Jack Conan going now. Sam Prendergast passed on the outside, skipping over the top. Here comes Osborne once more. I keep on saying Osborne, but it is O'Brien. In that scenario, loose ball knocked on by Jimmy O'Brien, who slams the ball down out of frustration there. It was almost another opportunity for Ireland on attack. Did Scotland put its South Africans in the squad for today, says Yanko. Duan van der Merwe not playing, if he is who you're referring to. Piers Schoolman is. And so many knock-ons. I left another couple tries out there, says Barry. Yeah, I think it's just been that last pass, hasn't it, for the Irish here? That hasn't quite linked up at times. Do see at the moment, score Samoa, 48 points to 5 now, leading over the Brazilians. They are starting to really take charge of that contest. New Zealand A versus England A is still 12 points to 7. So a very close one. What time is it in New Zealand? Currently 3:30 a.m. Much better from Ireland in the second half. Yeah, they've just found a lot more of their rhythm. That did look like playing the man on the ground, so that is why the penalty was awarded to the Japanese. Goes Samoa, says Big Rig. Yeah, the big game is up against Namibia. If they win that Namibian fixture, that is a great line-out steal from Ireland there. Ball did land on the ground, although I think it was still in the grasp of one of the Irish forwards. Hell of a lot of knock-ons, says Daryl. Now passed on the outside to Jimmy O'Brien. Finds his offload to Tom Farrell. Stockdale cutting back in off the wing. Almost able to break through the line again before he is tackled by Michael Leach. Blade goes to McCarthy. Now off to the right. Little chip attempted at mine from Sam Prendergast. Doesn't get the bounce of the ball that he was after. As Japan now control this ball. 10 seconds remaining on the clock, and they are only 5 metres out from their own line. Do you eat oysters, Hamish? Bluff oysters, shellfish? I actually don't. Believe it or not, I just haven't tried them. I'd like to at some stage. Now ball being rolled back. Looks like Japan. They are kicking this one downfield. Fujiwara puts it into touch, and that will be the end of this contest. 41 points to 10 in favour of the Irish. So it was close at halftime, 17 points to 10, but then from there we saw the Irish really come out firing in the second half. 24 points they managed to get unanswered here up against the Japanese. And thank you for the commentary on waking up early, says Chuck D. No worries at all. And we have, of course, got plenty more live streams coming up on the channel. We've got Scotland versus the All Blacks coming just around the corner. That is starting up in 10 minutes' time, so be sure to stick around for that fixture. Also alongside that, we have then got England versus Fiji, and then the one after that, it will be France and their contest up against the Springboks. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. We are going to be back, like I mentioned, in 10 minutes' time. So we will see you all for the... will you switch to AB's England game? We will not, but we will be going over to that Nets live stream in 10 minutes' time, and we'll give an update about the score right till the end of that match on that one as well. But we will see you all for the next one.